was bored and looked up what the average daily screen time in America is. It's about 7 hours, give or take a couple minutes on average per day. I'm sure that takes into account people who are never on their phone, all the way up to people who are on their phone for 16 hours a day. I like my phone well enough looking at social media posts, watching YouTube videos, Googling random facts to tell strangers and annoy my friends. It's also always there. I always have new posts to keep up with, new games announced, a quick 2-hour video on why the latest game is shit and why you should only spend $100 and 1,000 hours on it. Not only is everything and everyone trying to sell you something, they're trying to buy one of our greatest resources, time. I get overwhelmed by my Steam library enough as is. The time I get to play games can vary quite a bit day by day, as well as most people, and when I have time, I sometimes fall into a hole of wanting to get the most out of the time I have. I want to play the best of the best, and that is a carrot I'll never catch up to. When I get paralysis by analysis and I'm doom scrolling instead of playing literally anything, I feel like I'm wasting my time and spiral into this mental existential crisis on basically everything. Sometimes I think it'd be better if I just bought a yurt and lived with the squirrels. I think the feeling of playing a game or participating in a hobby that you are burnt out of can feel like turning something you love into a job, and that feeling sucks for sure. Sometimes you need a reset or a break. Personally, when I get in a weird funk, I'll take a little time off and try something completely different. I love working on puzzles or doom scrolling or fantasizing my life as a squirrel man, scavenging for nuts or cheeseburgers, whatever's available, really. But after my short life as a local figure, I realized I need a better system for tackling a backlog and keeping myself engaged while trying to 100% more games than I have in the past. One of the biggest things I heard from some old sage on the internet is the 2-minute rule. The idea is that you can do anything for 2 minutes. Start that game, pick up that book, whatever it is, for 2 minutes. If you hated it and you couldn't wait for that 2 minutes to end, then you didn't waste much time, and you know now that you certainly didn't want to do that. But on the flip side, if you pick it up and then half an hour passed, well, I guess we have a winner. Another thing I try to do on bigger games or games that I try to 100% is to set up a little checkpoint or milestones while I play. Whether that be completing a couple challenges or clear some portion of a map, whatever it might be, bite-size that bitch. I think it's only natural we get impatient, especially in today's world. I don't think it's a terrible thing that we have so many things to spend our time and energy on. I think it's also a huge ask for us as people to slow down and not feel like we need to be constantly at a 10 out of 10 for dopamine. It's something I and everyone else have to work on, and it's hard as hell, but I think together we might be able to get through it. I've talked about app limiters in the past, and I think that shit works. It's dorky to tell people that you're working on yourself and that the world is destroying our attention span and feeding us squirrel man related content, but it's true, and not just the second part. I feel like a baby when I think about needing to cut back on my phone. It's not like I'm not doing other stuff because I'm spending too much time on my phone, but in reality I am. I'm taking time away from anything that could be considered a hobby or beneficial to my mental or physical health. No one has ever been asked what their hobbies were and said,
being on my phone?
but why not? Because that shit is cringe as hell. We won't talk about being on our phones too much because it might mean we have to take a look at how much time we are actually spending on it daily. I remember growing up and hearing this, hell, I hear it now even, maybe to a lesser extent, that video games are lazy. You're a bum if you play video games all day. Okay, maybe, I mean, if your lungs are full of Dorito dust, maybe go for a walk. But man, I don't hear anything about someone complaining about people who stay home and scroll TikTok or Instagram all day. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Actually, I am. I'd take some dork climbing ranked on League over someone obsessed with engagement on Insta. I mean, that's a truly disgusting thing to say, and maybe I don't actually mean it, but fuck, man. How crazy is it that we don't compare these two extremes more? Why is the chase to be an influencer cool, but chasing bronze in League or Siege is, holy shit, you're so trash? I mean, I don't play League, but bronze sounds pretty good. What I'm trying to say is moderation is the key to everything, and everyone needs it. Spending 10 hours a day doom scrolling or engagement farming or grinding ranked in Madden isn't cool. Spending your time doing what you want is cool. And having the opportunity to veg out is also cool. But taking things to their extreme and then trying to say, well, at least I'm not doing X or Y, is some cope. You can probably make that money back. You can probably have the energy to write that book tomorrow. But time is never coming back. Your phone knows this, and companies know this. We are all people being treated as numbers, converted to dollars for shareholders that are banking on your engagement. Your time is your greatest resource. Don't waste it making someone else rich or more famous.